Hi, it's me again with Corel Tips and Tricks. This is for a plasma cutter. It's a great file, but he wants to get rid of some of the smaller, he called them bubbles, I think, because they're going to, plasma cutting is a little bit different than laser engraving, and this is a lot to cut, all these little bitty spots. So, and I've already checked that out. It has no background. If we take a yellow box, and go up to back a page, and so it's all clear, it's transparent. What I would do, it's all one group. I would left click, right click, and I'd make it a hairline, because that's what you need in plasma cutting. And then if we grab it, we can't grab it. So we're going to go to object and break the curve apart. Now, the bad thing with this, when we grab some of these, we're going to get the outside circle. So I'm going to set your nudge factor on 48 inches. Also, I'm a real pet peeve here to set your duplicate distance to 0, 0, which really doesn't matter in this case. So I'm going to get the outside ring gone. And this would be a lot better than he was talking about virtual segment delete key. And that would work. But, you have to get on the line. Since the curve is broke apart, I just keep one hand on the delete button and just click them and delete some of these smaller parts. And after you got some of the smaller parts deleted, and this is personal preference, see how quick you can do it. Because, some of the spots to me need to look like branches. And, this is plasma cutting is so much different than laser engraving. I've learned through the years, because if the torch has to touch every one of these little circles to cut out, and there's a lot to do that. Now, also, like those are really close together, and they're going to burn away if we take even though this is a big file, if we take our parallel dimension tool. Let me zoom in here. So you're going to have to go over the entire file. But if we click right there, that's 2/100ths of an inch thick. So instead of deleting that, we can take our shape tool and you can do this. Now, by doing that, you might have created another problem. And I like having smooth turns in my plasma cutting and don't want this sharp object. So by doing this, you can get rid of some of those, let the plasma cutter do its thing. And like on the other ones, you could take the smoothing tool, and it's real little right now. Let's set it on a 1/2 inch. And you could, grab that and you see the nodes, and you can just kind of click it with your smoothing tool, and it'll take away some of those sharp edges, like right there. So you have to click on it, and then you'll see the nodes. And that's an inside kind of a cut. And it's also reducing nodes. So let's take this one right here. If we take the shape tool, it didn't have that many nodes, but I would go through here and delete that one, and then go back maybe to your smoothing tool and just kind of you want to keep it little, but we could make it 0.75, because the bigger it is, the quicker it's going to react. And you just don't want those really tight turns. Like that's pretty close to, and you could move some of them around, once you selected them, once you got rid of some of the smaller ones. I think it would look a lot better with less. I agree with him. That's a pretty sharp turn in there. Get the smoothing tool and see, I'm going to click on it, and it gives me the nodes, and I can actually just hold it down over the area. And then I would just kind of go over the whole thing, and you can see how the blue line's turning into a red line behind it and making it a little smoother. On cuts like this, it doesn't really matter being close, because it's an inside cut, and you could do things like this to get it out of the way. Like here, a bunch of square cuts. Get your smoothing tool, click on the item, and let's even bump it up to 1 inch. The reason you want to keep it small is so you won't interfere with another piece, but since these pieces are separated, I'd go through here and sometimes it's kind of hard to click on it because you have to be right on that line. But as soon as you see those nodes, and I would leave some of the bigger pieces like this, like they are, but see the difference? I think everything else looks pretty good. That's a lot of cutting on the grass or whatever it is, but it doesn't have too many nodes. It does have a lot of sharp points, but that's just personal preference, what you want it to look like. If you click on it and just kind of smooth some of those out, I think it'll look just as good and give it some roughness. Like right in there is pretty good amount. But see, I'm not doing anything because I wasn't clicked on it. The text itself looks pretty good. There's not that many nodes. It's a little bit different type text, and it's done like that on purpose. So there's really nothing you can do about getting rid of nodes on that. You could try. Tell you what, let's go this. Let's select it all and make a copy of it. And we're going to take this whole thing, select the whole thing. And there are 731 objects, but I've only got one picked. So this isn't going to be very informative, but see all the nodes, they almost take over. So what you could try, because we have a copy of it, select it all with the pick tool, and then select it all with the shape tool, and go up here and reduce nodes, and I'd put like 5. Didn't do much. Let's go 20. And really it's not doing it because it selected that blue. The blue is highlighted. You know what, let's do this. Let's go, I don't think we can group it together, because if we do, then we won't be able to grab the nodes. Yep. So we have to ungroup it back. Trying to get away from that blue. There, I've got them all selected. Type in, well, don't want to group it. Let's try combining it, see what it does. And then let's select it all. Yes, now we can reduce it by 20%. Didn't look like it did much, but if we could count nodes, there are 3,916 nodes. And if we do this, get off of that one. So we had 3,916. Let's go combine it. And we select it. See, we've reduced it by 600 nodes. And I don't think you could tell a difference. But after you do something like that, we could even go further, but I wouldn't go too far. I'd put my ring back, take my Smart Fill tool, set on black, and fill that in just to see what it looks like. It's going to take a while because Corel's having to fill in all that paint. It already looks quite a bit different, but I would go through there, and you might even want to look at it with filled in and get rid of some of those. And I mean, even though that's cool, that's a lot of cutting. I mean, that's a lot of cutting. Anyway, I hope that gave him some. And see the grass I did? Didn't really change it too much. This one I changed. It's a little bit flatter where these are sharper. And you can do it while it's, well, we'll have to break the curve apart. Go up to Object, break curve apart. Well, we don't want to do that. So left click, so maybe you can't do that. But anyway, when you check this, I'd make sure you have it in hairline before you send it to your plasma cutter. With this type file, he must know what he's doing. I don't like cutting out big files like this with so much cutting in case something goes wrong. Now, there might be a problem right there. We might have a double line, and we do. So what I do is click on that line and then hit delete and see we only have one line. And that might have just been a rare case. So I need to nudge that out of the way again to do this. What you could, let's go up to object, break the curve apart, and I'd hate to say you'd have to check each one of them. Let's move that out of the way. Yeah, see, there's just one line. It was just that one item. I would maybe check them all. And you can move things around, like if you think those are too close together. I would, because we got that circle out of the way, you could select more than one at a time. So there might have been a double line. So a good way, especially in plasma cutting, to get rid of those double lines, let's put this back, take the Smart Fill tool, fill it in. It's going to take just a second. And then I would nudge it over, and I would left click, right click, and there should be no double line. He evidently draws in a 0.67 of a point. So this is going to have no double lines because you made a new object, and where this one could have double lines, this one should not. But again, break the curve apart, and then like I said, you have to take that ring and nudge it out of the way, because if you, let's go to object, group. Well, there we go. When you have that ring, you have treat all objects as filled. So it's doing that. Even though you're in here, you're picking the ring. So with that ring on, you'll be ahead of the game. And then you could take your pick tool. You could take your pick tool, or you could take your freehand pick tool and go, I want to delete all these, and then hit delete. And see, there's no double line. There's a lot of cutting in there, but I don't think, particularly, if you remove a lot of them, I don't think it's going to take away from the drawing. The freehand pick tool, I really don't like it, but it does have its advantages. And so you selected those three items, and I missed that one. Now, with the freehand pick tool, if you hold down the Alt button, then anything you touch, any part of it will be selected, and then hit delete. Now that might be too many. So think about that, like get rid of that little dot, get rid of that little dot. I might even look at this again, because you could select how many nodes and delete. Now see, once again, we're not at a hairline. I'm going to go back to the pick tool and select it all. And I would set your setting on hairline if you're going to draw a lot in Corel to do plasma cutting. But I don't think we've changed very much. And, like those little bitty dots right in there don't really have to be there. Anyway, I hope that helped them a little bit. Thank you for watching.